as a woman in India, what are your actual legal rights? Knowing the answer isn't just empowering, it can be life saving. So, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down into a clear visual guide.
There's this really powerful Sanskrit principle that says, where women are honored, divinity blossoms. It's a beautiful idea, right? But how does that ideal really stack up against the reality on the ground? That's the core question we're going to explore today.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the gap between principle and reality, then dive into your constitutional rights, look at specific protections at home, figure out how to make those rights real, and finally, talk about the path to empowerment.
Okay, let's get right into it. First, we need to tackle the fundamental challenge, understanding the gap between what the law promises and what so many women actually experience every day.
So on one hand, you have the promise right there in the Constitution, equality for women. But then on the other hand, you have the lived reality for far too many where that's just not the case. And this gap, well, bridging this gap is what the rest of our explainer is all about.
So where do these rights even come from? Well, the foundation for absolutely everything is the Constitution of India. It's the ultimate source of protection.
You see, the Constitution isn't just some old document, it's the fundamental source of your rights. It's the ultimate guarantee, and pretty much every other law we're going to talk about today stands on the shoulders of these core principles. First up, Article 14. This is basically the bedrock of equality. All it means is that the law has to treat everyone the same. Think about it. The same traffic law applies to a CEO in a fancy car and a student on a scooter. Simple as that. Everyone is equal before the law.
Now, Article 15 takes that a big step further. It isn't just about general fairness, it's a direct command. It flat out forbids the state from discriminating based on sex. This is the article that guarantees a woman's right to enter public spaces, to apply for jobs, and to access opportunities, all on an equal footing. Okay, Article 21 might sound simple, the right to life, but the way the Supreme Court sees it is incredibly powerful. It's not just about, surviving. It's about the right to live a life with real dignity, with meaning, and a life that is completely free from violence.
So, we have these huge constitutional ideals, but how do they actually translate into specific protections for women in what can be the most private space of all, the home?
This is where the Domestic Violence Act of 2005 comes in, and it was a total game changer. Why? Because it officially recognized that abuse isn't just physical. The law now gives you protection from verbal, emotional, and, this is huge, economic abuse.
Let's really zero in on economic abuse for a second. This form of control can be just as trapping as any physical walls. The law is super specific here, denying a woman money for basic needs, stopping her from getting a job, or taking her wages. All of those are considered acts of domestic violence.
And this is exactly why recognizing economic abuse is so important. It's a form of control that can literally lock a woman into an unsafe situation. So this law, it's designed to be the key that can break those financial chains and open up a path to safety.
Now, one of the most powerful protections in this act is the right to a shared household. So, what does that actually mean? It means a woman can't just be thrown out of her home. It stops her from being made homeless during a dispute, and it secures a physical space for her no matter whose name is on the property title. But, and this is a really crucial detail you need to know, in a key ruling, the Supreme Court clarified that a shared household usually means a home that's owned by the husband or the joint family. This means the right might not apply if the house is owned exclusively by, say, her mother-in-law. It's these kinds of specifics that are vital to understand. Okay, so these rights exist on paper. That's great, but how do you actually turn them into real-world action? This next part is all about the practical steps you can take. I want you to think of the law as a toolbox for justice. A woman can actually go to court and ask for specific tools to help her. A protection order to create safety, a residence order to make sure she has a home, financial relief, and even temporary custody of her children. And here's the thing, you absolutely do not have to navigate this system alone. The government has set up what are called one-stop centers. The whole idea is to bring all the support a woman might need, medical, legal, counseling, all into one single safe place. It takes away the stress of running from office to office. Technology is also offering some really powerful tools for safety. A great example is the Himmat app from the Delhi police. It's an emergency safety tool right on your phone that connects you directly with the police when you need help the most. And here's how it works. It's just 4 simple steps. First, you download and register. Then, if you're ever in an emergency, you just hit the SOS button. That instantly sends an alert with your location to the police and your emergency contacts. And then help is sent directly to you. It's an incredible safety tool to have right in your pocket.
We've looked at the principles, the laws, and the practical tools. So, what's the single most important thing to take away from all this? Let's talk about the path to real empowerment.
Because at the end of the day, a law is just words on a page until you know it exists and you know how to use it. That knowledge, that's the key. Understanding your rights is what unlocks the door to justice, and it's the most powerful first step you can take for your own safety.
It really all boils down to this one simple idea. Knowing your rights is step 1. It is the foundation that everything else is built on. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. Because turning these legal rights into a lived reality for every single woman, well, that's not just a legal challenge. It's a social one. And honestly, it's a challenge for all of us.